आपादमौलिपर्यन्तां गुरूणामाकृतिं स्मरेत्तेन विघ्नप्रणश्यन्ति सिद्धन्ति च मनोरथः लक्ष्मीतनूतनितरामितरानपेक्षमङ्गृद्वयं निगमशाकिशिखा प्रवालं हैरम्बमम्बुरुहडम्बरचौर्यनिग्रं विघ्नाद्रिभेदशतधारधुरन्धरन्नः शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि स्थिरभवतु मे सदा। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I welcome you all to the first session of Sanskrita Swadhyaya. So we'll be starting with Varna Vichara because all the introduction, everything has been given. So before we start learning any language, we have to understand there are two aspects of learning a language. First one would be the grammar part of it. The grammar is basically the guidelines, how to frame a sentence, how to convey the bhavartha of a particular message, how to encode and decode a certain message. There is a communication channel. In that, the sender, he will have to first decide how to say certain things, or the message he has to be clear. That will be converted to a particular statement or a question or whatever the form may be, it has to be decided. Accordingly, the language will help him, the grammar will help him. Then he is going to put it into that format. He is going to select one channel and he is going to send it. And once he send it to whoever he has to send it to, that person will have, he'll have to decode it. So both the sender and the receiver, they will have to have some common grounds, common rules. So that common rules, guidelines is what we call as grammar. That has to be pre-decided. That is one part. Now, especially when we are talking about sending it through written form, we also need to understand that writing it needs a certain medium, certain accepted general medium way of writing it, like the varnas, the shabda, syllables that we are talking should be represented through some symbols. Those symbols are called as alphabets, and this is called as lipi. Sanskritam as a language can be written in any lipi. There are so many lipis, by the way. We usually know of Devanagari because Hindi and Sanskrit are written in Devanagari. There is Nandinagiri, there is Brahmi, there is Maithili, there is Sharada. So all these are lipis, and the lipis are dependent on the uh, letter or the quality of the sheet on which it is written. Usually in the northern states, they don't use leaves, rather they use bark. So for them, it is easier to make strokes, very nice strokes. But if we come down south, it is written on leaves. We call it as tadagiri. That is one type of dried up leaf. So there they cannot make that stroke, because if you make a stroke that is straight, it cuts through the veins midrib, and the leaf will break. So they make a curved uh, letter. So usually the alphabets have evolved like this. Now, for us to understand read, Patana Kaushala, we first need to understand the basic lipi in which Sanskritam is expressed. And that, kindly please mute yourself. Astu. So now, when I speak about the lipi over here is Devanagari. And Devanagari we have the varnamala to understand this lipi. The initial what we have to understand is the varna vichara is expressed in two parts. That is, the varnamala is going to be taught in two parts. First part is called as the swaras. What are these swaras? Swaras are basically those syllables which can be expressed or which can be pronounced on their own. Swatantra Ucharana. They do not need anybody's help. They do not need any external prayatnas. But external prayatnas, we will learn about that also when we go through. There are two kinds of prayatnas of Ucharana, Abhyantara and Bahyantara. Based on that, there are classifications. But swaras do not need any kind of support. Therefore, they are called as independent syllables. They are also called as vowels. In Devanagari, we will be learning these vowels. What are they? Let us have a look at them. So the first vowel is A. How do we write this? There is a 3. See, the curvature stroke starts over here. And then we take a line behind the tree, and then we put a cap on it. This is A. Now this is called as a short vowel. There is a longer form of it called as A. Now those coming from Hindi background, they have already seen this, because as I said, Devanagari is used both in Sanskrit and Hindi. We have already seen this, but for those who are starting, it is easier to understand in these kind of books. A is Atha, Ajaha. A is Atma, Akashaha. So it is a longer vowel. The next vowel is E. E. E is Idam, Iha. And how do we write this? It's a simple S. But with that S, we have to give a handle and we have to give a cap. In the same way, we have E, the longer vowel of this. E. Ishaha, Ishwaraha. So this is the same S, but here with the cap, we introduce one hook for it. So one hook, and then we put a cap. Then next vowel is U. U. So U is again a 3. No extra, nothing over there, just one more cap with this. This is again a short vowel. U. Udakam. Uma. Then we have the long form of this, which is Uruhu. Uruhu. Urdhvam. Urdhvam. So the same 3, but we give it a tail. And then we put a cap on it. So Uruhu. urdhvam. The next vowel is r. R. It is not ru. Ru, we will go back to u. So it is r. R. It's a r sound. It is like growling when they express no like that. R. So how do we write this? First, we put a ulta C, then we give it a support, then we draw this E. I'm using the Anglo version of it because we are all familiar with those alphabets. So we put a E, then we put another C. So this is an inverted C, an ulta C. Then we give it one pillar for it, and then we put a E. That with that E we continue for another C, and then we put a cap on it. This is rhythm. Rak. Rhythm. Rak. There is a longer version of this. R. There is R and R. A little more R. It is not we should not extend that to U, otherwise it will become U. So it is R. R. So that was Rishi. See, R. Rishi. This is R. R. Same process. We put an inverted C, give it a support, add a E to it. But after E, we were adding one C over there. We are going to add two C's over here. That is an ulta 3. And then you give it a cap. So this is a longer vowel of R. So R, R. Okay. Then in Sanskrit, there is an other vowel called as L. L. This R doesn't have a longer version. There is only Haswa. The longer versions are called as Dirgha because we give it more time. The shorter versions are called as Haswa. So, R. The R is Haswa. This we are learning it because this is a part of Vaidika Parampara. So there are mantras with this particular alphabet. This Varna has been used in the Vedas, but we do not use it in our normal Laukika Bhasha. Nonetheless, we give it prominence and we still learn it. So how do we write this? This is similar to a sleeping tree. After I give it a handle, I give a ulta 3 and then give it another tail. I extend it and then give it a cap. So this is R. It is R. So there are no examples for this basically because we have to go through the mantras of the Vedas. Then we have A. A. Now in Sanskrit, there is no long and short syllables. There is no Haswa and Dirgha for A. There is only Dirgha. So A over here is only one. For this, we write it like this. There are two perpendicular lines, straight lines. One line we extend it. It is as though if you have seen the picture of Ganesha, then you will find that one leg of his is a little extended. So it is like that. This is A. Eva. Eshaha. Eva. Eshaha. There is no Haswa, so usually this A itself is going to be extended. So we have to say eva, eshaha. The next vowel is I. I. So I, we write it similar to A. We give this leg, we extend this pada, then we give another hand over here, and then we give it a cap. But this is similar to A, but before we give it a cap, we also give it a, like Krishna has a this thing, right? A peacock feather, like that we give it a feather. So this is Aikyam, Aishwaryam. Then the next vowel is O. O also does not have a shorter vowel. There are no two O's. Usually, when we are learning these varnas, it is very similar to the varnas that we are learning in any other Indian language because we have the similar varnamala, except for a few northern languages where the Vyanjanas, some of the Avargiya Vyanjanas are missing, except for some of the southern languages where Vargiya Vyanjanas are missing, and in some of the southern languages and in some of the northern languages, there are shorter and longer vowels for both A and O. So there is A, O. But in Sanskritam, we do not have these two versions. We only have A, O. There are no short vowels. So O, Om, Oshtha. So how do we write this? Similar to how we wrote for A, the A, second A. But instead of giving it a cap immediately after these two lines, we give it a feather as well. So this is O. That was and then O, giving it a feather. If I give it two feathers, then it becomes ow. So this ow is aushadhihi, aushnyam. Similar to O, but instead of one feather, I am giving it two feather. So this is ow. All these are swaras. They are independent. That means they can be pronounced on their own. They do not need any support for their ucharana. But there are other syllables that require the help of these swaras to pronounce. They are called as Vyanjana, Vyanjanani. So there are two kinds of Vyanjanani. Vargiya Vyanjana and Avargiya Vyanjana. Vargiya Vyanjana, which we have made Vargas. First syllable, second syllable, third syllable, fourth syllable. They can be arranged as five syllables each in each Varga. Kavarga, Chavarga, Tavarga, Tavarga, Pavarga. But all of them cannot be pronounced on their own. Ucharana cannot happen. That if I say K, there with K, I am also adding Swara. That Swara Sayoga is happening. Therefore, it is K plus A, then K, K plus A. When I say K, it's not coming out. There is some touch with the Kantha, but it is not forming completely. Manifestation of that syllable is not complete. For that, we need Swarasa Yoga. So, I take any of the Vyanjanas, I add the Swara to it, then it gets a form. K plus A, K. K plus A, K. K plus A, Ka. K plus E, Ki. K plus E, Ki. Then plus u, ku. K plus u, ku. K plus r, kr. K plus r, kr. K plus a, k. K plus I, kai. K plus o, ko. K plus au, cow. With this, we have the Vyanjanas with the Swara Sayoga expressing themselves into the same number of forms that we have seen the Swaras to be. So all these things k is expressed as only this. Without the help of a Vyanjana, without the help of a Swara, a Vyanjana gets one a small a line in the bottom to indicate that Swarasai Yoga has not happened. See, Swarasai Yoga is for Ucharana. So for writing, we have to show which requires the Swarasai Yoga, which should not have the Swarasai Yoga. So therefore, for that conveying, we have added this line in the end. Whenever any Vyanjana has this, it should be said without Swarasai Yoga. But with them, what happens is we have to say it completely. So when I say k plus a, then it becomes k, complete k. So this is complete. It should not be stopped in between. So if we look at any of the previous words, see, aushnyam, m is half because there is one line in the end. But when we go to eva, va is complete. It should not be stopped in the, it's not ev, it is eva. In the same way, it is not, it is uma. So this way, all these letters, varnas, are expressed, that is, vyanjanas are expressed with swarasayoga. And the number of ways the swarasayoga, as the swaras express themselves, a, I, u, r, r, then a, I, o. Adding them, we will express the vyanjanas into the same forms. Ka, ka, ki, ku, kr, kr, ke, kai, ko, cow, kam, we haven't expressed. So these are how we are going to see the vyanjanas express themselves. K for katha, kamalam. Ka for kakaha, kalaha. Ki for kim, kiranaha. Ki for kitaha, kirtihi. Ku for kumaraha, kulam. Ku for kutastha, kupaha. Kr for kripa, krishnaha. Kripa, krishnaha. Again, we will come across in some of the shlokas. When we come across that, we will be able to understand it. Keshavaha, Kevalaha, Kailasaha, Kaivalyam, Kotihi, Koshaha, Kaumudi, Kairavaha. Sorry, Kauravaha. I think Kaumudi, Kauravaha. Kha. Now, as we have short vowels and long vowels in the swaras, we also have alpa prana and mahaprana, the two categorization of Vyanjana. What are these? The amount of effort, the amount of expulsion of breath that is required to pronounce the Vyanjanas, that is categorized into Alpa Prana and Mahaprana. Alpa Prana does not, it's a very smooth flow of prana. Prana is air. So the air has to move through your Swashakosa and Kosha, and it has to come out your mouth for the words to manifest. So that is pronouncing. So when I say ka, there is no, it's a very easy movement of air. But when I say ka, there is a forceful expulsion of air. So ka is alpa prana. Ka is mahaprana. There is efforts required for it. So in our Vargiya Vyanjanas, the first of every Varga and the third of every Varga are Alpa Pranas. Ka, Ga, Cha, sorry, no, Cha, Ja, then Ta, Da, then Ta, Da, Pa, Ba. These are all Alpa Pranas. Then we have the Mahapranas. Ha, Gha, there is forceful expulsion. And then there is Cha, Ja, Ta, Ta, Da, Ta, Dha, then Pha, Bha. All of them have these forceful expulsion of air, and therefore they are called as Mahapranas. Each of this is the Mahaprana. How do we write this? It is a simple rupee symbol. If we have seen, it is a simple rupee symbol without the a slash in between, and then we write one more line with one um, a small circle with it, then we put a cap on it. This is ka. Whenever we see Swara Sayoga, accordingly, whatever we saw, it is going to change. For example, our Vargiya Vyanjana Kha is only this. But when I add Ka to it, that one, if we remember, our A had one extra line, two lines, no? So that one extra line we are going to add over here for Ka. Then for ki, we are going to use, this is universal. For all the Vyanjanas, this is going to be used. We are going to give it one support like this. Like how Shiva has Ganga Dhara like that. It is coming on the right end. If we give it to the left end, then it would be ki. And it is there similar for all the Vyanjanas. So ki, gi, chi, ji, all the Vyanjanas getting E. On the right side, if the Gangadhara comes out, it is Hasva. On the left side, it becomes Dirgha. Then for U, we give it this addition. U. But on for a longer vowel U, we choose the opposite end. This is on the right side. This is on the left side. Then for Kr, just a small C. Like how we wrote in Kr, the same thing. Then for the longer vowel, two C's, because there also we had written 2C. Here also we are going to add the 2C to over here. Then for K, we are going to give a peacock feather. For Kai, we are going to increase that feather to 2. Now, here is where the confusion happens. In the Swara, A doesn't have a feather. I had only one feather, but here A we are giving one feather, I is getting two. Same way for Ko, I am giving it one staff, one stick as well as one feather. For cow, I am giving it one stick as well as two feather. So this is cow. For ka, after we do ka, it changes in the similar way. Ka, kha gets one stick extra, one extra line. He gets this Gangadhara on the right. Then ki, we will have it on this end. And then K gets one feather, Kai gets two feather. Then the next Vyanjana is Ga. Ga. Similar to how we have A, but instead of bringing the feet down like this, we are turning it to the right side itself and then giving it a cap. This is Ga. This is what Ga? This is Alpa Prana Ga. And then the changes will be accordingly. Ga plus A is Ga. Normal. This is it. G plus A, Ga, and therefore one line extra. Then Gi on the right side. Gi on the left side. Go. We turn the feet to the right. Then Go. We turn the feet to the left. Then one small C will give us Gr. Then one feather Ge. One staff, one stick, and then feather Go. Then one stick and two feathers Gau. Gauri. Gauho. This is Gha. Mahaprana Gha. This is the fourth Varna in Kavarga. So Kavarga has a total of 5. Ka. So we have Ka, the Vargiya Vyanjana, first Varga is Kavarga. In that Kavarga, we have Ka, which is the Alpa Prana. Then Kha, which is the Mahaprana. Then we have Ka, which is again the Alpa Prana. Then we have the Mahaprana Gha. Now the first two parts of the Vargiya Vyanjanas, Kakagaganya, Chachajajanya, Tatadadana, Tatadadhana, Papapapama, the first two Vargas, that is Ka plus Kha, Cha plus Cha, Ta plus Tha, Ta plus Tha, Pa plus Pha are called as Karkasha Vyanjanas because they are hard. They hit the place of origin and they create gharshana within the mouth. So therefore they are hard. Karkasha. We have Mrudu after that. Mrudu Vyanjanas. So these Vargiya Vyanjanas have 5 Vargas. Kavarga, Chavarga, Tavarga, Tavarga, Pavarga. And accordingly, each of them has 5 syllables with them. Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nya. Cha, Cha, Ja, Jha, Nya. Ta, Tha, Da, Dha, Na. Ta, Tha, Da, Dha, Na. Pa, Pha, Ba, Bha, Ma. And all of them they require the Swara Sayoga to be pronounced completely. That means we have so many expressions. Here we have Ka, Ka, Ki, Ki, Ku, Ku, and in the same way Cha, Cha, then we have Chi, Chi, and the same way for all of them. So we have a lot of expressions of these Vyanjanas. So these are the Vargiya Vyanjanas. Now, when we go to the second one, this is ka, kavarga, then we have the kha, then ga. Then the second one is gha. And in the same way, gha, when we do a longer version, we add the longer a, then it becomes gha. Both mahaprana and dirgha, gha. Then we have ghi on the right side when we get the e. Then ghee. Here, for the sake of practice, there is no word udaharana is given for some of the letters because they're not used for, or not all the expressions of vyanjanas are used for certain as words. Some of them are expressions of certain syllables. The rules have been applied uniformly. So the Vyanjanas exist, but there are only very few words that we come across, and somewhere in between, they do not start with them. So therefore, we won't find much of the examples over there. Then, if we put r, then small c in the end, gr, then gu, smaller u, gho, then we have n. This this nya has to be. Now we looked at the kavarga. When we looked at the chart in the beginning, we saw that it is given as kantha. The place of origin for kavarga is kantha. There is a sutra called as akuha visarjaniyam kantha. A ku is representation of kavarga. For all the vargas, we use, let us say, I am talking about all the five syllables of kavarga, ka, kha, ga, gha, nya. Then I am going to represent it through this. This is called as ku. Ku means all the five letters of kavarga. So, akara, ku, kakara, that is the kavarga, all the vyanjanas with its expressions, ka, ki, ku, all of them. So that, and hakara, one more avargiya vyanjana it is, they all originate at kantha. Therefore they are listed there. With this sutra we get to know that akuha visarjaniyam kantha. This is how it is represented. And the last word is, this is an anuswara. We will talk about this in the next session. So we will do the ending and we will part it. We will always do the samarpana at the end of every class. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः प्रतिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषा गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि।